These are pictures of Chaplain Ella with Maya Angelou at the East Dallas Christian Church when she was here to read a poem and dedicate the Baylor Interfaith Prayer Garden. And on the right, there she is in the garden reading her poem of dedication. So we'll hear more about that later in Ella's stories.
Listen to her justice call. Follow sister wisdom. Take down all walls. Though our path is hard and long, she will lift our spirits with song. Listen to her call for peace. Follow sister wisdom, never ceasing. Keep on planting justice seeds. She will give us all that we need. Listen to her justice call. Follow sister wisdom. Take down all walls. Though our path is hard and long, she will lift our spirits with song. Listen to her call for peace. Follow sister wisdom, never ceasing. Keep on planting justice seeds. She will give us all that we need.
Now, Barb, you have a reading from Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings.
Yes. And as I told Jan, it was so funny. I was moving some of my paintings down in my studio, and I knocked over a book, and it was this very old copy of Maya's book, and it just was laying on the floor. And then came this information about what was going to be going on today, and I thought, maybe she's talking to me. So anyway, I went down and got the book, went through it, and came to the end. And what I didn't realize was that her birth name was Marguerite. And she graduated from high school, and then wrote her parents a note and said, "Dear parents, I'm sorry to bring this disgrace on the family, but I'm pregnant." Signed it Marguerite. So her mother asked who the boy was and said, "Do you want to marry him?" She said no. And then I said, "Does he want to marry you?" She said no. And the father said, "That's somebody else. Somebody's not muted. Somebody's talking." Anyway. And he said, "Well, there's no use ruining 3 lives."
Really? Oh my Lord.
Alex,
Okay.
Jan asked him to mute.
This happened upon his boat that used to be.
Okay, there's a picture down here.
Wait, Barb. Okay, I want them to mute so we could hear you. Okay,
Right.
Has
okay.
everybody muted? I'm muted, I think.
I think it was Von Trier.
Yeah. Okay, so I gave just a brief introduction, and this is just a short read that I found at the end of the book that just touched me. So anyway, so she was pregnant. She was a teenager. She had her baby, and it says here, second to the last page, she says, "Mother came to my bed one night bringing my 3-week-old baby. She pulled the cover back and told me to get up and hold him while she put a rubber sheet on my bed. She explained that he was going to sleep with me. I begged in vain. I was sure to roll over and crush out his life or break those fragile bones. She wouldn't hear of it, and within minutes, that pretty golden baby was lying on his back in the center of my bed, laughing at me. I lay on the edge of the bed, stiff with fear, and vowed not to sleep all night long. But the eat-sleep routine I had begun in the hospital and kept up under Mother's dictatorial command got the better of me, and I dropped off. My shoulder was shaken gently. Mother whispered, "Maya, wake up, but don't move." I knew immediately that the awakening had to do with the baby, and I tensed. "I'm awake." She turned the light on and said, "Look at the baby." My fears were so powerful, I couldn't move to look at the center of the bed, and she said again, "Look at the baby." I didn't hear sadness in her voice, and that helped me to break the bond of terror. The baby was no longer in the center of the bed. At first, I thought he had moved. But after closer investigation, I found that I was lying on my stomach with my arm bent at a right angle, under the tent of blanket, which was pulled by my elbow and forearm. The baby slept, touching my side. Mother whispered, "See, you don't have to think about doing the right thing. If you're for the right thing, then you do it without thinking." She turned out the light, and I patted my son's body lightly and went back to sleep. I get so teary-eyed when I hear what her mother said to her. And the reason why this was important as her first book and for me to share was what great parents she had, what loving there was there, and the embracing. And I love, if you're for the right thing, then you do it without thinking. That's what I leave with us today.
Now we'll read Maya Angelou's poem, Still I Rise. And Barb, if you be reader number 1 and Ella 2, winner 3, and I'll do 4, and then we'll start over again.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise.
Ella, I think you're muted.
Does my sadness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room.
Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise.
Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries?
Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise.
Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise? The dance that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs.
Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling. I bear in the tide.
Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wonderfully clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts of my ancestors that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Ashe.
Mhm, that's
Now, Von Trail and Alex aren't feeling well today, so we'll continue reading this song. And Ella, would you start, and then Winter, and then I, and then we'll go back over again in the same order we were in.
The women long ignored still rise from sacred page. With wisdom they explored the truth for every age. And still they rise, and still they rise with hope alive, and still they rise.
The women preached the word. The Bible makes it clear. Still, many have not heard these sisters through the years. And still they rise, and still they rise with hope alive, and still they rise.
The prophet Anna sees her vision come to light, and Mother Mary frees, oppressed from painful plight. And still they rise, and still they rise with hope alive, and still they rise.
Apostle Junior leads and Deacon Phoebe prays. Joanna does good deeds. Priscilla shows the way. And still they rise, and still they rise with hope alive, and still they rise.
Like sisters long ago, we often are ignored. Still, holy wisdom shows us all her way to soar. And still we rise, and still we rise with hope alive, and still we rise.
Okay, Chaplain Ella, you have a reading for us.
Well, what I decided to share was my when I looked at what you had, you all got all of my favorite poems. So I thought I would share my introduction that I made when I made the introduction. Considered one of our national treasures, Dr. Maya Angelou is hailed as one of the great voices of contemporary literature and as a Renaissance woman, a poet, educator, historian, playwright, actress, civil rights activist, producer, and director. She is the author of many best-selling books, including I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings and Even the Stars Look Lonesome. Dr. Maya Angelou was chosen by President Bill Clinton to deliver her dedicatory poem on the pulse of mourning at his inaugural ceremony in January 1993. She continues to travel the world, sharing her legendary wisdom and inviting her audiences to invest their spirit in elevating the human condition. Please join me in welcoming the dynamic, inspirational, superbly, quote, phenomenal woman who will share with us her jewels on creativity and spirituality, the one and only Dr. Maya Angelou. And then in reflection of that, I continued, I said, life's journey has a way of forcing one to ask reflective questions that lead to spiritual growth. So I asked myself at this point in my journey, what have I accomplished? What difference have I made? Am I a rainbow in someone's cloud? Sometimes I barely feel alive. and now I'm asking my purpose to be defined, then how can I be a rainbow in someone's cloud? I heard Dr. Maya Angelou today, and she said, one's purpose in life is to make a difference. And I thought, I am, until I faced the grim possibility that perhaps I am not. I believe God sends messengers or prophets and prophetic voices to remind us there is still time to define and refine one's purpose by asking, am I a rainbow in someone's cloud? But time is finite and not infinite. It will not stand still or wait for me to find me or you to find you. It may, in fact, leave without me or you, ever knowing if we are that rainbow in someone's cloud. But I am indeed a rainbow to patients at a great humanitarian hospital. I minister to families with newborn babies born critically ill and with special medical needs. So I thank Dr. Angelou for reminding me of my purpose, and I can answer affirmatively that I am someone's rainbow in the cloud.
Amen and Ashe. Thank you for reflecting on that personally too. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Okay, Winter, you're going to read this poem and then you have a prayer that you wrote.
Yes, I do have a poem I've written. Thank you, everyone, for your contributions. The poem that I chose was Alone. I have many reasons for choosing this particular poem, and it actually does tie to the prayer that I've put together. Lying, thinking last night, how to find my soul a home where water is not thirsty and bread loaf is not stone. I came up with one thing, and I don't believe I'm wrong, that nobody, but nobody can make it out here alone. Alone, all alone. Nobody, but nobody can make it out here alone. There are some millionaires with money they can't use. Their wives run round like banshees. Their children sing the blues. They've got expensive doctors to cure their hearts of stone. But nobody, nobody can make it out here alone. All alone. All alone. Nobody, but nobody can make it out here alone. Now, if you listen closely, I'll tell you what I know. Storms are gathering. The wind is going to blow. The race of man is suffering. And I can hear the moan because nobody, but nobody can make it out here alone. All alone, alone. Nobody, but nobody can make it out here alone. And my prayer is titled A Womanist Prayer, Ode to Poets, honoring Maya Angelou. Dear God, triune God, God of many names, moment by moment, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. I know you, God. I know you, Mother God, Yahweh. Believe in us, women. Believe in our talents. Believe in our gifts. Believe in our worth. We know you value us. May we create and document in unique ways our thoughts, feelings, and experiences as we write, share, publish, act, and sometimes preach like our friend, mentor, sister, role model, civil rights activist, Dr. Maya Angelou. May we capture our adventures, pains, joys, happiness, and even our confessions as we Black women, womanists, queer women, recognize our ability to engage radical subjectivity, critical engagement, traditional communalism, redemptive self-love. We are whole. We are complete. We are worthy of the kingdom. Our heart, empathy, and compassion are like guiding lights, illuminating the path of understanding and kindness in the journey of our lives. As we connect with one another, we encourage one another, support one another, and love one another. We recognize we are not alone. We are a rainbow in someone's cloud. We are a rainbow in someone's joy. Thanks be to God, Mother, Jesus, Sophia, and Holy Spirit, Saria. Amen and Ashe.
Amen and Ashe. Beautiful.
Ashe, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Holy darkness stirs our creativity. She will bring us sacred treasures, boundless and free. Holy darkness moves within all life on earth, ever flowing well of beauty, bringing birth. Holy darkness stirs our creativity. She will bring us sacred treasures, boundless and free. Holy darkness moves within all life on earth, ever flowing well of beauty, bringing rebirth.
Now, the poem Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. Barb, would you read the first stanza and then Ella the second and Winter the third and I'll read the fourth.
Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model's size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, and the curl of my lips. I am a woman, phenomenally phenomenal woman. That's me.
I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man, the fellows stand or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's in the fire in my eyes, and the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist, and the joy in my feet. I am a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's me.
Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch. my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say it's the arch in my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breasts, the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenally phenomenal woman. That's me.
Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need for my care. 'Cause I'm a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's me. Okay, we've experienced some of her poems and writing from her first book and Ella's introduction. Now I invite you to share other reflections and stories about Maya Angelou.
You know what? I rode in the limousine with her to the hotel, and she shared at that time her health concern. I didn't realize at that time she said that she only had one lung, and 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 so she shared her concern about that, and she said it was, from they learned late, they didn't know the ill effects of smoking during that time, but it was, the result of smoking cigarettes. And so she shared that intimate detail while we were riding together. And I also presented her with a CD of my great uncle's music. My great uncle is Louis Jordan. And she was so excited. She said, "Oh," she said, "my mother would play this music when we were in Hope, in Hope, Arkansas." And she said, "Oh," she gave me a big hug. So it was just exciting to, have that encounter with her. Yeah, yeah. And you notice, just we had the same color suit on. Now we did not communicate that. I didn't know she was gonna wear. I just happened to have. I said, "Oh my goodness, look, we have the same color suit on."
Wait.
Exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was
that's
excited.
so exciting to see y'all together and up there on the platform of the church. You did such a beautiful job introducing her. So I'm glad you shared that with us. I'm going to put these pictures up again in case some of you can. Okay, there's Chaplain Ella with Maya Angelou, and you're presenting her some flowers there, aren't you?
I'm presenting her the flowers, and also there was a picture that we didn't get of me presenting her with a scarf, a Baylor scarf. And she was putting that scarf around it. Yes, yeah. Boy, look, I was young and cute, wasn't I?
Now you're just old and cute.
That was October 16th, 2003.
Yeah.
David put together this, I don't know if I'm gonna stop the share and you can see,
Oh, hold it up
see
higher.
this book. He took some pictures in the prayer garden and in the church. I thought he had taken a picture of Ella and Maya Angelou and me, but we couldn't find that, and Ella couldn't find that, so maybe it was just in my dreams, but it was such an amazing experience for me, just to be in her presence that close. And in the church, I wasn't as close up as Ella was, but I got to hear her, and she was just magnificent. Ella was magnificent, and in the prayer garden, she read one of her poems, and I can't remember which one. Do you remember, Ella?
I don't remember which one. I
Well,
have no
I don't know if you remember this, but she had written a original poem, and one of the higher up administrators of Baylor didn't like something about it and wanted her to change it, and she wouldn't for her. And
idea.
so she just picked out one that she already had, and it was one. Uh, here's another one. I don't know who these other women are she's talking to. Do you know, Ella?
Those were people from the church who attended, and because they just came up and just were speaking to her and saying that what, if I remember correctly, this is the one who said that she knew her mother from St. Louis when they were living in, was it St. Louis or San Francisco? Yeah, but the people just coming up to her, talking and making comments to her, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, people were amazed, and everybody wanted to meet her and talk to her. I thought she was very gracious because she had, I mean, it was an hour at least in the prayer garden, and then she'd gone over to the church. Did y'all ride in a limousine to the church too, Ella?
Yes,
And I don't know if she had much break, but then she had that hour, and then she spent time there in the fellowship hall receiving people and compliments. So I just, and I didn't know that she had told you about health problems at that time, Ella.
yes. I felt like I was her chaplain.
Well, you were, you were
Mhm.
absolutely meant to do that, to be with her. And what a phenomenal experience.
Yeah,
You're a phenomenal woman with a phenomenal woman. So, uh,
and it just, when I presented her with that CD of my uncle's music, I could the expression on her face, and she just started singing some of his song, one of his songs.
Wait,
Oh, yeah, it was exciting. Yeah, very.
yeah, that's wonderful. You gave her that gift, and she's so gracious. The other time I saw her in person, and I think Barbie did too, is when the Turtle Creek Corral,
corral. Yes.
yeah, and the Myerson, they did some original thing, and Maya Angelou was the narrator. And it seems like she was walking on a cane. That was a few years later after
Mhm.
Prayer Garden. Uh,
Oh, so she came to Dallas again.
yeah, she did get
Oh,
to be
I
the
didn't know that.
narrator.
Right.
And
Oh, okay.
that was very wonderful too. Of course, I just saw her on the stage. I was not too far back, but it was, her voice was still magnificent. I think she was becoming more frail at that time.
It was for her 80th birthday. It was right before her 80th birthday that occurred. And I don't know if you remember, but they bought her a cake on stage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you were there, Winter.
Yes, I was. Yeah,
Now, are
I
you
was.
talking? Excuse me. I'm sorry. Are you talking about after 2003?
Yeah.
Because I was here in Colorado. I moved here in 2000, and I don't remember. I don't know about going back for that. So I was thinking that when I saw her, it was before the
2000.
2003.
Oh, she
Yeah, I don't remember the year. I just remember the occasion,
Yeah.
because Piazza and was involved in all of this, and so I made sure to get seats on the first row of the second balcony, and I was real close, so I was able to take pictures, but I can't find it. So,
But
oh,
and then
it,
are you talking about when Turtle Creek Corral was here, or another one?
yeah, Turtle Creek Corral was involved as well.
Okay, because that's the one I remember, and I don't I and like I said, I moved to Colorado in 2000, But I
came
mean,
back,
I
you
could have
came
come
to
back.
back to Dallas, helping your mother move out, and getting her things. Maybe you just come back to Dallas. I don't know. I'd like to find out the year for that
Yeah,
too.
yeah. No, mom didn't die until 2012.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so it wouldn't have been that, but there could have been, but I don't see me, there might have been some other kind of thing, but because yeah, yeah,
But you
so
remember seeing her in person at
I
the
do. I remember
marathon.
seeing her, and then when you said Turtle Creek, I went yes, because I thought it was a singing group, but I couldn't remember. Um, I couldn't remember for sure what. Yeah, yeah.
Well, it could have been before 2003, but
But she wasn't, but she wasn't on a cane in 2003 when she came.
no, she wasn't. Ella, do you know how old she was when she came in 2003? I guess we can look at her birth date and figure it out, but
No,
Uh, so,
no.
so I just looked something up, and it said "Peace out" at the marathon, and it looks like in March of 2008.
Huh.
Hmm.
Her birthday is in April. She's either a day before or a day after me,
Yeah,
which was interesting, which I hadn't realized until I was kind of looking.
right. So it was like a month before. It wasn't the day before. It wasn't in April. I knew that. It was right
Yeah.
before her 80th birthday.
how long did she live after that? Do you see when or what her death date is?
Yeah, I'll find out real
Okay.
quick.
Well,
Uh,
2008,
She
I
died.
might.
She died. I'm sorry. She died in 2014.
oh, she lived a while after that then. She
Right,
was
and she was 86 years old at that time.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. That appearance there narrating may not have been her last public appearance, but it might have been one of them.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely was not her last public appearance. It
Right.
may have been her last public appearance in Dallas, but
Yeah.
it was not her last public appearance.
Was she on a cane? Do you remember?
Yeah, she was on a cane at that time, and looks like they've got a clip here. So I'll put this clip in. I'll put this clip.
In the chat?
Well, I'll put the article in the chat because
Okay.
this other
Yeah, put
thing.
the article in the chat. I think that'd be very interesting.
Yeah, I'll put both of these in there. And Tim Selick, which was part of the uh what's the group that y'all said, the choir? I can't
Turtle
think of it.
Creek Corral.
Yeah, he definitely was a part of it. So I'll drop that in the chat so y'all can grab it.
Okay, great, great. Well, all of us have experienced being in her presence. That's uh, I'm not sure if Alex and Von Trail said they had, but Alex may be too young. But anyway, they're not. They're watching us today and maybe can put in the chat if they had experienced her in person. Any other reflections or stories about Maya Angelou?
This was very nice. I thought this was,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was.
reflect over her life.
What's also was really nice is having those of us that could speak, and I'm sorry that Von Terrell and Alex couldn't be speaking with it, but to hear her words again in the ways that we chose to read them and quote them has been so uplifting. I mean, as a woman, I just like, oh yeah, that's great. So
Yeah.
inspirational. Thank you.
Yeah, Alex wrote in the chat, unfortunately, we've never had the privilege of meeting her in person,
Uh,
but obviously they've been influenced by her. And said so at our last meeting.
Yes, yes. I'm here. My voice is a little gruff. This is Von Trill. Thank you all for this wonderful program. You mentioned memories of Dr. Maya. I remember seeing her dancing. There was a dance troupe that she participated in her youth. It was a Harlem. I don't know exactly what the name of the troupe was, but she did a play. She performed in the play, and I think she wrote it and directed it. I saw a documentary of it a couple of so years ago, and I am just in awe and enthralled at the diversity
Uh-huh.
of the richness of her talent. She was a dancer. She was a human rights, civil rights womanist. She was a single mother. You know, she endured and survived sexual assault as a young girl. And she was there with Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King. It's just an extraordinary, abundant life of richness, diversity, courage, and overcoming. I'm just amazed. And no, we did not, much to our chagrin, meet her in person. But I think every time I hear a play, I see creative dancing. I remember reading, you know, when I read a poem, when I'm hearing you all read the poem, I'm introduced to her all over again. I get new revelation and insight. So no, we didn't meet her in person, but we can meet her every day of our lives in her literature that will outlive us all. Thank you all for this program, and sorry that our voices are failing us today. Have a good day.
Well, thank y'all for tuning in anyway, because
Yes, thank
well,
you.
shout out to you. This was your idea to do a celebration of Maya Angelou, and you encouraged us all to share our experiences. So this was wonderful, and I'm so uh, awed and amazed by her talent too, and have read not all of her books, but quite a few of them, and a lot of her poems. And she reminds us all that we're women phenomenally. We're
Yeah,
phenomenal.
exactly.
Amen.
You know, and
Uh,
I think that the piece that I had read from what her mother had said to her when she was a teenager with this young child, that you don't have to think about doing the right thing. If you're for the right thing, then you do it without thinking. And that is to me such a message. It's short, sweet, and just right on. And she's an
Amen.
example of that information from her mother. Yeah.
Hey, the last article I just shared, I would encourage everybody to get that article out of the chat, because it says, I'm going to read a portion of it. It says the keynote was the acceptance speech of Dr. Maya Angelou. Walking slowly onto the stage, she managed to convey both frailty and strength. Her speech took the biblical theme of the rainbow God sent during the flood to give Noah hope. Anyone who does even the smallest unasked courtesy to a fellow man, she said, was such rainbow. At the end of her address, Dr. Angelou thanked the audience for being a rainbow in my clouds and asked them to consider her the same, judging by the response. That was a foregone conclusion. And so that article, it has a little bit more in there, but it also talks about the fact that it says Mr. Piazza was just one of several MCs for the recipient. She received the recipient of the Voice of Peace Award for being an author and a civil rights activist. So that was March 2nd, 2000. I guess it was March 1st, 2008, because the article is written March 2nd. So that's in that article. I just wanted to follow up and let y'all know.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I
thank
was
you.
looking at those articles too. That's just great. The influence at the gathering, the Womanist Church, y'all talk a lot about ancestors, and I had not thought about that. In the churches I've grown up in, we hadn't put as much emphasis on ancestors, but I think it's so important. And Maya Angelou is one of our ancestors that lives on in us because by honoring them, we continue to embody them. I think that they're here and we embody them.
Amen to that. And Ashe, definitely, she was uh, from a visibility standpoint, her for her even being in movies, acting, singing, all of those kinds of things, especially in the 20th century, she has had a lot of presence, presence of voice, physical presence, and spiritual presence. And there were people, I think, women before her that might have been as powerful, but not as in many venues or opportunities. And Chaplain Ella, you can and Von Troy, y'all could speak to that. But I think because of her presence in so many places, it was and her being recognition that she made a humongous difference and a like I said, a mentor to like Nika Giovanni and all of those guys. Though they all stood on her shoulders as a result of what she did. I'll stop talking now.
No, you don't have to stop talking. You're good.
Yeah,
That's wonderful,
yeah,
Leonard.
exactly. Mm.
Well, I think she inspires us all to
Yeah.
use our many talents. All of us on here today have multi talents. We're multi-talented people, and we could go one by one and I could talk about all the talents that y'all have from Barb to Ella and Winter. And we remember Winter about to defend her dissertation project on April the 20th. I'm amazed, Winter, that you've been able to do that while you were almost full-time at the gathering, whether you're considered full-time and you have a full-time job and so much that you do. And Vontrell and Alex is so talented and now writing lyrics. Last night at the gathering, Vontrell sang the song that's really a theme song for the gathering, and she sang that, and Deshay did a wonderful piano accompaniment, and it's splendid what y'all wrote. So, uh, so I think Maya Angelou continues to inspire us all. We keep saying we're phenomenal, and we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And thank you, Von Trail, for bringing her forth for us to embrace today, and you know, to be able to walk through this together.
And she was also, I think she was a professor at, was it Wake Forest University? They're
I
in,
think I think so.
yeah.
I don't remember, but I could look that up real quick.
Yeah, she was a professor.
Yeah, I think she was. Okay, if there's nothing else, then we'll do our doxology and
Hey, Dr. Jan,
yes.
while you're pulling that up, I talked to Deshay last night, and I shared that I was pulling this together, or doing this prayer, and they asked me to put it on video, so it can be played next week.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And send me that too, because, you know, when I heard you read that today, when I started to say, you need to read that at the gathering. So
Mhm.
I'm so glad. And another one of the poems that you had written and read at New Wineskins, we said that, and then you read it at the gathering not too long back. So I'm glad that your talent can be shared there too.
I think I have an influencer on the video. Uh, so in the past, I brought it up before, but I had not gotten as much reception. But me talking about the fact that I was doing this in honor of her birthday, Deshay said that there was a piece that I could step into because they did not have anybody to speak, and so this fills that gap.
Nice.
Well, that's wonderful. I hope you continue offering your talents there too. And Alex and Von Trail, your wonderful talents of singing, of writing, of reading, litanies. Alex, you and I have done litanies there. We'll have to do that again sometime. So
I just want to just say I thank Winter and Jan for their gifts of writing and just really blesses my heart. Yeah, really appreciate it.
thank you.
You all are welcome. You're you're I guess compelling me to write because it wasn't my first choice
Well,
in
I'm
life,
glad
but
you
thank you.
are. And Ella, I've wanted you to write your autobiography for a long time. You remember I've said
Yes,
you have such a story.
Well,
yes.
sometimes it's easier. Just speak it. Just speak it into a, you know, make a
Yes.
recording, because sometimes sitting down and writing something like that is a little hard. But if you just can sit down and, just talk into a tape of some kind, and then somebody else can even write it.
That's a good idea. And
That's
Barb,
right.
you should do yours too. And Fontrell and Alex, make a recording if you don't write it.
And so should you,
Well,
Jan. You
huh?
should too. You should too, Jan.
Well, I've written
I
mine
know
when
you
I was
have.
younger when it was published, but Breaking Free took me through late
Sure,
50s. So
sure.
uh and Alex and Von Trail, you wrote a very moving kind of piece for our gathering book, your story of coming to the gathering, the Womanist Church. And so expand that, record it. So we have stories and they make a difference. I hope y'all realize that even though we may be just a few, we have influence. I mean, think Maya Angelou was one person and the influence she had and continues to have. So keep putting your talents out there. Okay, our doxology, let's see, Barb or Ella, can you start us? And we'll all sing.
Probably not. I'm kind of froggy. I'm
That
froggy too.
certainly is not my gift. Okay.
Okay,
Praise
well,
It's
God.
not mine either, but I'll start it and we can all sing
okay.
together.
Okay.
Praise the
Praise God, from whom all
All
blessings
blessings
flow,
flow.
whose womb
Lord, one
gave
gave
birth
birth to
to
all
all
we
we know,
Oh,
know, who
who
holds
holds
us
us close
close
to
to
her
her warm
warm
breast.
breast.
For
For
nurture, love, and
and
tender
tenderness.
Ashe.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Happy spring.